Hi, Brooke. I wish I could have made it in person. So I thought I'd send a video, as this would be better than writing or calling, um, so that I could have some face-to-face time. I wanted to share a story that had came up recently when I was sharing your story with one of our employees, and her husband had throat cancer and brain cancer. And one of the things that he did was he would put little toy soldiers, and this gentleman was 40, 50 at the time. He would put little toy soldiers all around his bed and his hospital room, and he would imagine the different soldiers coming into his body mentally, um, into his body, and fighting off the cancer. And he would feel areas of warmth where the cancer was as they were going out throughout that battle. And that's when I realized that when I say meditation, and I mentioned that that was really helpful for me while I was in the hospital, it was more so a mental exercise that I think is really effective. And so as I was thinking about their story, and I was thinking back also what mine was, I used food, and I would imagine that I tried to eat really healthy, and every single piece of food or thing that I drank, I would imagine it going in my body, and I would imagine all these little worker cells, like picking, like with their lunch boxes, picking up the food, eating it, and then being energized to go work on my hip or my nerves, etc. And there was days where it felt like there was like this, little to no progress. I felt like crap, probably completely uncomparable to what you're going through and feeling. But there was days that were bad, and instead of thinking negatively about it or just trying to get through the day, I would just say, okay, fine. I'll let you rest, cells. I know you've been super busy at work, and I'll let you rest today. But tomorrow, starting at 6 a.m. sharp, I want you back at work. And that really helped me just get through some of the bad days and look forward to the next day. And kind of complementary with that is when you do have those bad days, there was a bit of I guess control that let me I guess have mentally to go through that mental model. It made me feel like I was a little bit in control, but ultimately I realized that I could control my mind, but I really had to surrender and trust to the doctors for my body, and God for the timeline. And so I always had hope that I would be better, but I got away from the literal expressions of some of what my friends and family said, or doctors would say, okay, maybe 2 weeks or maybe another month. And I'd say, okay, but I trust that God has the right timeline for me. And I'm going to use this opportunity to really learn to live, to take full advantage of the time that I have with my family now. And I know eventually I'll be better. And so it was more of a hope that things will be better. And something that helped me do that was a Bible verse that I loved, which was Isaiah 40:31, which is, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And I really like that, really the first line, they that wait upon the Lord. And I knew that this time one was out of my control. I knew and had trust and hope that I would be better. But again, I surrendered to the timeline, and surrendered to the Lord, surrendered to the care providers. And then I stayed in my head, really trying to do the best that I could to keep my mind positive. And I use mental models like that, that I just explained. So, I would really, encourage you to kind of, if you haven't already, figure out what really works for you in your mental model. I trust that you'll get better. I trust that the Lord has a plan for you greater than any of us can possibly comprehend. And I would just encourage you to be patient, to wait, and to stay positive mentally, and let the others help you, and trust that God has a plan. So with that, I want to end with, I have a lot of people, the company and friends that wanted to say a good word, or give you words of encouragement. See you, Brooke. Hey, say hi to everybody back at home for me. I miss you guys. I love you.
Mountains, and I rise up, I rise like The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains.